Yesterday I posted a video about AMD's buy signal having to hold the channel on retrace, and what a spot to buy. Let's go. If you want to see the market dynamics and fundamentals as well as the weekly, backtest, and hourly for AMD, I'll add it to the end of this video, so have a look at it. Also, Tesla fired once again. We'll look at why I waited to buy that one, but bought Meta instead, which was actually highlighted in yesterday's video with the double bottom forming kind of the cup. Others fired, but I'll leave those for Discord members, which pay the $5 per month for real-time signals. Okay, moving on to AMD. When looking at AMD for the hourly, this is the channel we basically drew yesterday and talking about if it came back into this area, there was a good support level as well as a trend line support lining up. Now, in my wildest dreams, I never thought that it was going to come back this quickly. I thought maybe, something like it was eventually going to come back down through here and spike it. But, this did it within the first hour of trading. So why did I go ahead and buy it? And actually, if you're a paying member on the Discord, you'll see kind of how I take everybody through all this, where actually shows, what I bought when and how I did all of it. So it's all here. I mean, this isn't stuff that I'm just making up. At any rate, looking back at the chart, when going to the lower degree time frame, I went ahead and saw this thing dropping pretty quickly, but then started seeing a reversal candle structure on the 5-minute here. So being that we had the trend line support, also the support as well right here, to me, this seemed like a very natural place to buy. At this point, this thing could have just kept shooting lower, but it just felt like there was a lot of strong support there. And from a TA perspective, it made a lot of sense. So I went ahead and bought. So the first thing you always do is set your stop losses, because in case it goes sour on you, you limit your losses. So this ended up taking off, and as it took off, really what I was posting at the Discord was, at any one of the fib levels all the way up to the golden pocket, it could reverse. So it could come up into here and reverse, and that fib level, if we look at it, but if we just get an idea here with the fib levels, that was spiking the golden pocket. So that kind of looked ominous there. So I put in a red candle, and then this one just took off. And essentially, once I saw this taken off for high heavens here, coming into the trend line, it just made sense to take profit. So I went ahead and took half the profits off the board right there. And the next thing I did is I made sure I hit the subscribe button. This way you don't miss out on these kind of opportunities in the future. So next what I did is I went ahead and I figured, well, let me see once this gets rejected, if it holds the 109.50 level, and it came back down through, it held the level. So I went ahead and, this seemed like a very smart area to potentially pyramid into. Pyramiding, when you buy half of the shares you sold, you move your stop up so you can't lose any more money. Also, by that time, I'd done some research and found out that some things that the CEO had said and how price targets got adjusted upwards. So it kind of made sense at that point to, buy back in, move your stop up with half the shares you sold. And that way, if you move your stop up, you don't really lose any more money than you already made. Looking at the daily, the reason I was so confident on this level was when you looked at the daily here, we had talked about this quite a bit yesterday about how all these touches here was a very strong area of support and resistance. So it made sense that it was going to come back, test it, and then take off. So at that point, once I saw this reversal candle in play, bought in, like I said, with the pyramiding once again, and it took off, and lo and behold, it hit the trend line again. So this one was a very simple call, hit the trend line, sell off half of the shares once again. So I had like 40% of my shares remaining at that point. So it took more profit here. At this point, where do we go from here? Now that we hit this resistance level, we could actually come back down and retest support once again. And I'm not sure how long this will take. If it starts to stretch it out and take it longer, let's go back to the hourly. This kind of does look like a reversal candle there. So this isn't quite like an evening star formation, but kinda. I mean, you don't have the doji, but you do have the reversal at the top of the range. What we'd like to see is this come back down to support once again, hold support, and this would be another area to potentially buy into if support holds, because then we would be going up along the channel once again. That's what I'm kind of looking at next. I have my stop right below here for the remaining shares, and then bounces. It's a potential area for me to pyramid into more shares. So that's the way I'm looking at this right now. Also, one other thing to note is this 111.50 area for AMD has been a rather rough spot for it recently. You can see here a bunch of different rejections right here. So we're gonna have to pay attention to that. So maybe this cup now wants to form a handle, and if it forms this handle and breaks this neckline, it could really get some legs moving, because once you break above that neckline, it's been an area of strong resistance. Usually once those break, they will usually explosively move upward. If it loses this area of support, I've sold it, and I could always buy at a lower price once again, maybe at the formation of a double bottom with a handle if I see it hold a couple times. So why didn't I buy Tesla? Okay, this one, it almost is a carbon copy of what we talked about the other day with AMD. Got the buy signal right here. I sold half my shares up here and then the remainder of my shares right here the other day. This morning it opened with a house of fury, end up pumping, actually broke through resistance here, and now it's coming back as support, and it's going to recheck this level. But the reason I didn't buy was the normal move for Tesla with backtest is about a 5% move, and pretty much since the bottom, this pole has already put in 6.5%. So what I think it's likely to do at this point is it's going to have to probably cool off a little bit. It's likely to pull back to this 382 area. If it does so, that's like the 0.5 fib area. It could come back into here, find support, and then if we see some type of reversal structure here, maybe it goes ahead and takes off and starts, walking itself in a channel. Yeah, so it's almost parallel there, but we could see almost a buy algorithm that would look something like this, where we see here where it keeps on topping up against the trend line. This could be a normal trend line. We pull back into this area, and then seeing a reversal structure in here would be another signal to go ahead and get into that buy signal. So patience sometimes pays. And then the last thing I talked about was the Meta trade. And Meta was very interesting because we featured this one with the double bottom in the AMD video as well, talking about how you sometimes get the cup forming a double bottom. And this thing is right at this neckline. So at this point, we always could come back into an area of support. We'd like to see that hold, and then, or just keep taking off. I'd be happy with that too. But, will this come back into this area here, find support, and then spring it up through the neckline? Something has to help it break this neckline. If it doesn't break this neckline, then, you're not going to get that double bottom jump. But if you look here at where we're at currently, double bottom to neckline, and the reason why I was so interested in taking this, that's an 8% run. Meta has a 5 or 6% take profit area. That's all I have for now until the next video, and we'll see you then.